Now that you've got ideas for how student groupings can work with data in targeted instruction, let's take a look at how Ms. Bluebell puts it into action. Welcome to Using Data to Form Student Groups, presented by UT Gear Up PD. Consider the data cycle here. Teachers who have mastered this data cycle go through this process daily. First, the teacher gathers data on intended learning outcomes with assessment. Second, he or she analyzes the data, noting students that need additional support in achieving mastery and plans for small group instruction. Then, a small group is pulled to provide additional support. The cycle restarts with each new data point or assessment. So, what does this look like in practice? Let's take a look at a classroom data cycle and how students can move in and out of the small group targeted instruction. Welcome to Ms. Bluebell's class. She has students in groups of 2 or 3 with a table at the back of the room for her small group work. You can see this on the seating chart. At the beginning of the unit, Ms. Bluebell does a quick pre-assessment to measure readiness and check for mastery of the standards from the previous unit that will spiral into the new one. As Ms. Bluebell analyzes her data, she pays close attention to how each student performed, while also monitoring the trends of those TEKs as she progresses into the unit. There were 4 questions that related to the upcoming unit. You can see here the number each student got correct out of 4. Ms. Bluebell decides to pull Joel, Tom, Zoe, and Shelby on the first day as the rest of the class is doing their warm-up. She sets a timer for 5 minutes to review the main concepts of the previous unit, then they go back to their groups. At the end of the lesson, Ms. Bluebell has an exit ticket aligned to her objective. As she reviews her exit tickets, she notices that Joel is still struggling with the basic concept of the day. The next day, as the class explores the content in more detail, she pulls Joel for one-on-one support. She sets a timer for 10 minutes to work with him while keeping an eye on the class. After she works with Joel, she walks around the class, listening to group conversations and checking work. She notices that while they are participating in their groups, Lemon and Jonah are struggling. She pulls Lemon and Jonah back to the table to discuss and uncovers a misconception she hadn't anticipated. In her planning meeting that afternoon, she discusses it with her team and makes a plan to clarify with all students. A few days into the unit, Ms. Bluebell gives her students a writing prompt that requires them to analyze a topic. Because grading writing is more involved, it takes Ms. Bluebell 2 days to review the writing and give feedback. She continues to monitor exit tickets and classroom discussions. As she analyzes the data, she decides to move all students into new groups based on the writing to help her support students for the next 2 days in group mini-conferences. Students also take time to update their data folder. All of the high-performing students are either grouped together or with a medium-performing student. Medium-performing students are also grouped with medium or lows, depending on how close they are to each other. Their groupings are done homogeneously based on this data point, and she plans flexible content for the next 2 days while she conferences. It's midway into the unit, and Ms. Bluebell has scheduled a quiz. Grades are noted on the seating chart. Based on the data presented so far in this unit, what would be your next steps? You can access the cumulative data below to help her plan. On your note-taking guide, write your ideas for Ms. Bluebell's targeted instruction, then continue on to check your ideas.